trapped, helpless, shunned. This is where many women in abusive relationships find themselves today. Our divorce system makes it almost impossible for those in such a relationship to make it out in time. On average, 24 people per minute are victims of rape or physical violence by an intimate partner in the US alone. But who's really the culprit?
Today's divorce system makes it almost impossible for those in abusive relationships to escape in time. Getting a divorce costs a lot of money. On top of that, divorce can take a lot of time, and while waiting in an abusive relationship, the victim is putting themselves and sometimes even their family in danger. Our government has not taken enough steps to protect those who are trying to get free. The legal system believes that if they can just help the victim get out of their house and away from their abusive partner, they would be able to get back on their feet by themselves. Individuals who have been abused have been so destroyed, and they have become so dependable on their partners that once they are taken away or they leave, often they don't know what to do and how to support themselves. Individuals also run into huge financial problems. The financial problems are often caused by the cost of divorce, which generally costs around $15,600 to $20,000 just to start the process of a divorce, and the outcome can often be unpredictable. The legal system has not always been so binding to those who need an escape route. Ancient Rome society had a different method.
Marriage was used as an agreement between two individuals to live together. It was not legally binding. This made it easier to get out of an abusive situation. To divorce someone, all you had to do was verbally say you no longer wished to be together in front of 7 witnesses. Though their marital system may seem more free, there are still many downsides. Gender equality was not a very well-known option at the time. A woman's place in the house was known, and there was not much room for improvement of her life after marriage. We can only assume that a lack of rights would make her a very easy target for abuse. But abuse is not always just physical.
There was a situation where I was on my beat in the west side of Fort Worth, and I had you get to know people in your area, and there was a lady. She asked me if she could talk to me, and she made me aware of a family violence issue between her and her husband, which they were separated at the time because of the violence. It was revealed that there were also restraining orders and other orders against him to keep him from coming around her, which he was violating. But there were also death threats being made to her. Over the days, I kept getting calls from her of things he was saying and showing up at her house and violating the orders. There were warrants issued for his arrest. Anyway, I got a call from her on the last day of the situation, and she stated that he said he was going to get his guns and come to her house to kill her. And a short time afterwards, Saginaw PD did come across him. And from there, at that point on, then a gunfight ensued, and he was shot by the police officer. He did have quite a few weapons on him. He had very much every intention to take her out.
911, operator 901, where's the emergency?
127 Brymere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency line.
How long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Okay, is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, It looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Verbal abuse can change everything about a person, even the way their brain develops as a young child. These effects are lasting and can destroy a person. The main parts of the brain that get destroyed due to verbal abuse are the transferring motor, sensory, cognitive information between the two brain hemispheres, the hippocampus, and the frontal cortex. Emotional and physical pain hurt more. Our perception of someone's motivation literally affects how much physical pain we feel. Verbal abuse is given to scare, isolate, or control you and is just as serious as physical abuse. When someone is verbally abused, they usually end up starting to think that something is wrong with themselves or their own abilities. They may even come to feel that they are the problem and not the other person who is abusing them. The person verbally abused self-esteem gradually diminishes, and it usually happens without them realizing it. The person will usually change their own behavior so that they don't upset the abuser.
There's usually a lot of signs and symptoms of an abuser. Heavy jealousy, somebody who wants to try to restrict you, to keep you from doing things, that wants to isolate you from family and friends. The whole purpose of this is they want to isolate you, to make you fully dependent on them. At that point, the abuse is going to become much worse because they have total control of you. Basically, it is brainwashing. It's what they refer to as like Stockholm syndrome. It's where they just destroy you as an individual and make you to where you are completely dependent on them and you don't have anywhere else to go.
Social media, an everyday resource available to people nationwide, is used by millions of people around the world. Used to post an Instagram picture or upload a tweet, used to connect humanity through just a phone. But it's not always positive. It has normalized and can encourage violence. It can often target intimate partners and youth and create violence. In fact, because of the media, it can be used to stalk others, and this can lead to relationships that can be abusive or toxic to the individual. It has become like a wall to hide the evidence of an abusive relationship behind. Sexual violence is shameful for the victim, which prevents the person from wanting to get help. Victims of rape or abuse are too afraid or too embarrassed to speak up. They don't really know how to get help. Today, commercials or social media promotions telling people how to get out or who they can turn to for help is rare. We've made it hard for people to be comfortable and want to reach out. It's hard to go through that alone. We need to put in interventions that will alter the normalization of violence and strive for a better society.
The truth must be told. Domestic violence is common in our society. Domestic violence is one of the worst kinds of abuse in our world. On average, almost 20 people are physically abused by their partner per minute in the United States. Domestic violence can happen to anyone. It does not matter what your race, gender, religion, or where you live. If we don't face our problem now, domestic violence will continue to grow in our society, and it will become harder and harder to put an end to. In order for us to put a stop to this, we must stand together, work to make laws tougher to protect those who can't protect themselves. We can help victims by volunteering at women's shelters, family crisis shelters, or safe houses. It can be hard to take time to physically volunteer at a shelter, but donating can help thousands during the times they need it the most. We need to open our eyes and see what is happening so that we can put a stop to this before it is too late.